The sun cast long shadows across the town of Eldridge, painting the streets in hues of orange and gold. In the quaint, old-fashioned pub at the corner of Maple Street, Alex and Jamie sat huddled in a dimly lit corner, glasses half empty in front of them. "Have you heard the stories?" Alex began, his voice barely above a whisper. He had that look in his eyes, the same one he got when he was onto a story that might just give him the big break he'd been waiting for. Jamie leaned in, intrigued. "What stories?" "The old carnival," Alex continued, glancing around to ensure they weren't overheard. "Locals say it's haunted. They speak of eerie laughter and music echoing through the night. Some even say people have gone in and never come out." Jamie raised an eyebrow, skepticism evident. "Ghost stories, really. We're journalists, Alex, not children at a campfire." But Alex was undeterred. What if there's a kernel of truth in those tales? Imagine the coverage, the readership, the acclaim. Jamie took a moment to consider, then sighed, pushing her glasses up her nose. "Fine, but we need evidence, facts, not just wild rumours." Alex grinned. "That's where you come in. Your photos, my words. Together, we'll unravel the mystery of the forgotten carnival." Jamie looked at him for a long moment, then finally nodded. "All right, but we approach this rationally, okay? No getting lost in wild theories." "Deal," Alex agreed, raising his glass. "To the truth behind the tales." As they clinked glasses, the bartender, an elderly man with grey hair and deep wrinkles, looked over at them, his eyes sharp with a mix of curiosity and warning. Later that night, as Alex researched the carnival's history, he stumbled upon a black and white photograph. In it stood a troupe of clowns, their painted smiles eerily similar. Yet one face stood out, a clown that looked remarkably like him. Dismissing it as mere coincidence, Alex closed the book. But as he tried to sleep, the haunting tune of a merry-go-round echoed in his mind, pulling him deeper into the enigma of the carnival. The stage was set. Their journey into the heart of Eldridge's darkest secret was about to begin. The next morning, with the golden sun just beginning to ascend the horizon, Alex and Jamie packed their equipment. Cameras, voice recorders, and a handful of tools, just in case they needed to pry open any locked doors or gates. Jamie looked at the old map she had acquired from the local library, tracing the path that led to the carnival. It was situated on the outskirts of Eldridge, hidden amidst dense woods that locals rarely ventured into. The road was known to be treacherous, and was partly why the carnival was eventually abandoned. As they approached, the trees seemed to grow more gnarled and twisted, their shadows casting eerie patterns on the ground. The chirping of birds faded, replaced by an oppressive silence. The entrance to the carnival was marked by an ornate, rusted archway, with the words, "Eldridge's Enchanted Extravaganza," barely discernible through layers of grime and corrosion. A massive wooden gate, surprisingly unlocked, groaned loudly as Jamie pushed it open. Inside, the carnival grounds spread out like a scene frozen in time, stands with prizes still intact, a hall of mirrors with shattered panes reflecting fractured sunlight, and, most haunting of all, the towering Ferris wheel that stood still against the sky, its cabins creaking gently in the wind. "I've never seen anything like this," Jamie whispered, her fingers itching to capture the haunting beauty of decay. "Start with the central area," Alex suggested, motioning to the old carousel at the heart of the carnival. It's said to be the epicenter of all the paranormal activity. As they approached, Alex couldn't shake off an uneasy feeling. The painted horses looked more menacing than merry, and the central figure, a jester, seemed to watch them with hollow eyes. Jamie, ever the professional, began snapping pictures, while Alex set up his voice recorder. The daylight lent a sense of security, but the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind blew, causing the carousel to turn ever so slightly. The wind chimes at a nearby stall tinkled, breaking the silence. "It's just the wind," Jamie reassured Alex, though her voice wavered. But as they ventured deeper into the carnival, they both felt it, an unseen presence, watching, waiting. The stories of ghostly laughter and music began to seem less like tales and more like warnings. Their path eventually led them to a tent, its entrance flapping gently. The sign read, "Mr. Lafferty's House of Laughs." Curiosity getting the better of him. Alex pulled back the tent's flap and stepped inside, with Jamie close behind. Inside, amidst the shadows, they saw rows of wooden seats facing a small stage, and in the centre of it all, a lone figure sat, an old man with piercing eyes and a weathered face. "You've come searching for stories," the man rasped, "but some tales are better left untold." Alex and Jamie exchanged glances, realising they had just met the enigmatic Mr. Lafferty, and something told them that the carnival's secrets were just beginning to unfold. The dimness inside the tent seemed to deepen as Alex and Jamie cautiously took seats across from the old man. The very air seemed heavy, filled with the weight of countless untold stories. "Who are you?" Jamie finally asked, her voice steadier than she felt. The old man chuckled, a dry, raspy sound. "Names carry power, my dear, but you may call me Mr. Lafferty. I've been a part of this carnival longer than anyone else alive." Alex leaned forward, curiosity piqued. "If the stories are to be believed, this place is haunted. Are they true?" Mr. Lafferty's eyes twinkled with a strange mix of mischief and sadness. "Haunted is a relative term. The carnival does hold memories, echoes of the past, but whether they are merely memories or something more tangible, well, that's for you to decide." Jamie, eager to capture every moment, began taking photos of Mr. Lafferty, the tense surroundings, and the faded posters that adorned its walls. Each poster showcased clowns in various acts, their faces painted in expressions ranging from joy to sorrow, from mischief to malice. "The clowns," Mr. Lafferty began, pointing to the posters, "were the heart and soul of this carnival. They brought laughter and joy. But as with all things, there was a darker side." Alex's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" The old performer sighed, his gaze distant. Every clown had a story, a past. Some were running from their demons, while others embraced them. The carnival became a haven, a place where they could hide or let loose. But in their pursuit of freedom, some lost their way. As Mr. Lafferty recounted tales of clowns who had succumbed to their darkest desires, of acts that went awry, and of mysterious disappearances, the line between myth and reality began to blur for Alex and Jamie. "The most infamous of them all," Mr. Lafferty continued, "was Jester Jack. He was the star performer known for his mesmerising acts and captivating charm. But he hungered for more than just applause. They say he made a pact with the shadows, trading his soul for eternal fame." "And is that why he's said to haunt this place?" Jamie asked, her scepticism evident. Mr. Lafferty leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper. "On moonless nights, they say you can hear the ghostly tune of his accordion, luring unsuspecting souls into his eternal performance." Chills ran down Alex's spine. "And what happens to those he lures?" The old man's gaze was unwavering. "They become part of the show, forever." The weight of Mr. Lafferty's words hung heavily in the air. After a long pause, he spoke again. "Nightfall is approaching. I'd advise you to leave. Some tales, once experienced, cannot be forgotten." But as Alex and Jamie emerged from the tent, the allure of the carnival's mysteries was too great. Determined to uncover the truth, they decided to stay, unaware that the night had plans of its own. The sky was painted with hues of deep purples and blues as night began to claim the carnival. As twilight settled, a blanket of eerie stillness enveloped the grounds. The creaks and groans of old rides seemed more pronounced, and the wind whispered secrets known only to the aged trees surrounding the perimeter. Setting up camp near the carousel, Alex began to sort through his voice recordings, hoping to catch any anomalous sounds. Jamie, on the other hand, prepared her camera for night shots, adjusting the settings to capture the ethereal beauty of the moonlit carnival. Time seemed to warp, hours passing like minutes. The hands of Alex's watch soon approached midnight. Suddenly, The stillness was shattered by the soft, haunting strains of an accordion. The melancholic tune wafted through the air, drawing them towards its source. Heartbeats quickening, the duo followed the music, weaving through dilapidated stalls and rusted rides. They soon found themselves in front of a grand tent, its entrance illuminated by ghostly phosphorescent lights. The sign overhead read, "Jester Jack's Grand Performance." "Is this a yoki?" Jamie whispered, her skepticism battling with the undeniable reality before them. Inside, they were met with an astonishing sight. Spectral figures sat in the audience, their hazy forms shimmering in the dim light. On the central stage stood Jester Jack, his pale face painted with a maniacal grin, eyes hollow yet piercing. He played his accordion with a fervour, each note echoing the tragedies of the carnival's past. Suddenly the music stopped. All eyes, living and otherwise, turned to Alex and Jamie. Jester Jack's grin widened. "Ah, living guests, how delightful! Welcome to the show that never ends." Before they could react, the tent's entrance sealed shut. The ghostly performance began in earnest. Ethereal clowns juggled, tightrope walkers danced in the air, and fire breathers set the stage ablaze with blue flames. The acts were mesmerizing, yet beneath the surface lurked an undercurrent of sorrow and desperation. As the performance reached its climax, Jester Jack approached them, his voice dripping with malevolent glee. "You wanted a story, didn't you? Now, you're a part of it." Panic surged through Alex and Jamie. They realized that if they didn't act quickly, they might never leave the carnival. Thinking on their feet, Jamie aimed her camera's flash at Jester Jack and fired. The sudden burst of light momentarily stunned the apparition, buying them precious seconds. Grabbing a nearby prop, a mirrored shield used in one of the acts, Alex reflected the moonlight onto Jester Jack, the pure light causing the malevolent spirit to recoil in pain. The spectral audience, sensing a shift in power, began to murmur and shift restlessly. Seizing the moment, Jamie shouted, "This performance is over! Release us and find your own peace!" A cacophony of voices rose, the weight of their unresolved stories pressing down on Jester Jack. As the spirits converged on him, the tent began to disintegrate, revealing the moonlit night outside. Gasping for breath, Alex and Jamie stumbled out, the haunting melodies of the accordion fading into the distance. They had escaped the clutches of the nightmarish performance, but the carnival was far from done with them. The duo stood at the edge of the clearing, the lingering mist from the disintegrated tent dissipating around them. They glanced at each other, the weight of their narrow escape evident in their eyes. "We need to leave," Jamie murmured, her voice shaky. "I agree," Alex replied, looking around, trying to ascertain their bearings. "But which way did we come from?" The labyrinthine layout of the carnival seemed to shift and change, making it difficult to retrace their steps. They started walking, hoping to find a familiar landmark. But as they walked, a strange, almost magnetic pull began tugging at Alex's core. "The carousel," he murmured, his voice distant. Jamie, sensing his distraction, grabbed his arm. "Alex, snap out of it!" But the pull was too strong. Without another word, Alex started walking towards the carousel, his pace quickening with every step. Jamie raced after him, trying to break the trancer. "Alex, stop!" But he was beyond hearing. As he approached the carousel, the painted figures started to move, their once stationary forms now animated with a grotesque semblance of life. The central jester figure, the one that had unnerved them earlier, spun faster, its hollow eyes fixed on Alex. With a final surge of energy, Alex reached out, touching the jester. Instantly, a rush of memories flooded his mind, countless stories of joy, sorrow, love, and betrayal, all tied to the carnival. He saw the clowns in their heyday, the laughter of children, the gasps of amazed spectators, but also the darker moments, the accidents, the betrayals, and the spectral pact of Jester Jack. The weight of these memories threatened to drown him, but a sudden clear thought pierced the tumult. The photograph he had seen earlier, with the clown who resembled him. It wasn't a coincidence. It was an ancestor, a direct link to the carnival's past. This connection was what had drawn him here. Mustering all his strength, Alex pulled away from the carousel, the barrage of memories tapering off. He stumbled back, gasping for breath, Jamie rushing to his side. "You okay?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. Alex nodded slowly, his eyes filled with a new understanding. "We need to break this cycle, Jamie. The carnival feeds off these memories, trapping souls in an endless loop. We need to release them." The realization was clear. The carnival's stories, its memories, had to find a voice, a way out. They couldn't remain trapped forever. Determined, the duo set out to document everything, to bring the stories to light. Only by sharing them with the world could they hope to free the souls bound to Eldridge's enchanted extravaganza. With newfound purpose, Jamie and Alex began documenting the carnival in earnest. Using their equipment, they recorded ambient sounds, capturing the faint whispers of lingering souls. They photographed every nook and cranny, making sure to capture the essence of the carnival's past. But as they continued, they realized that mere documentation wasn't enough. They needed to actively engage with the carnival's history, to confront and reconcile with the spirits trapped within. In the heart of the carnival grounds, they set up a makeshift memorial, using bits and pieces from around the area, faded tickets, old plush toys, and photographs they had taken. This memorial became a beacon, a focal point for the restless spirits. One by one, the spirits began to approach, drawn to the promise of release. Alex and Jamie would listen to their stories, offering words of comfort and understanding. Each spirit's tale was a piece of the larger puzzle, painting a vivid picture of the carnival's storied history. As hours turned into days, the weight of the carnival's past began to lift. The eerie, oppressive atmosphere began to thin, replaced by a gentle calm. Spirits that had once been bound by sorrow and regret now found peace, their echoes fading as they moved on. But one spirit remained, Jester Jack. Confronting him wasn't easy. The weight of his regrets and the darkness of his pact held him firmly in place. But Alex, with his ancestral connection, managed to reach out, bridging the gap between the past and the present. "Your ambition, your desire for fame, it's echoed through the generations," Alex said, voice steady. "But it's time to let go, to move on." Jester Jack's form wavered, the darkness around him struggling to maintain its grip. "I just wanted to be remembered," he whispered, his voice filled with sorrow. "And you will be," Jamie assured him, "but not as a malevolent spirit. Your story will be told, along with all the others." With a final, mournful note from his accordion, Jester Jack's spirit began to dissipate, joining the countless others that had found release. The sun began to rise, casting the Carnival in a warm, golden hue. The once foreboding entrance now stood open, inviting future visitors to remember and celebrate the Carnival's history. Alex and Jamie, their mission complete, packed up their equipment. They left Eldridge's enchanted extravaganza behind, but its stories would forever remain with them. Months later, they published their findings, creating a multimedia exhibit that toured the country. The once-forgotten carnival became a cultural phenomenon, with its tales of joy, sorrow, love, and betrayal resonating with audiences everywhere. The spirits of the carnival had found their voice, their stories echoing through time, ensuring that Eldridge's enchanted extravaganza would never be forgotten.